different light.
Well, when you talk to him, though, it gets to his head a bit, and then
For
he
sure.
starts to lose focus.
It does happen to people, though.
Yeah, for sure.
And I am, of course, Pease Del Ruiz. I'm joined, as usual, by Brent Bodkin, and as usual, not by Steph Fens. Steph Fens made a remarkable 0 appearances for this entire FPF season. That's pretty impressive in its absolute terribleness. Chapman is terribleness a real word? Please look that up. And of course, Chapman is producing us from afar, although doing a poor job of producing us because once a week he did not bring us our Milano sandwiches.
I mean, once again, not once a week.
Yeah, once again.
Yeah.
Listen,
Both are true. Both are true. It is once a week. How often do we do this podcast?
once a week.
Yeah.
But listen, I thought I was late.
You were very early, actually.
I don't understand.
Once you were here, you could have left and gone to get sandwiches
I
and
had
come back.
no idea you guys were going to be here.
Yeah.
So late.
So also, for those of you watching, we switched back to our original spot this week because Terry Tam will be joining me in the Division A and B podcast. For the few of you who play Division E as well as Division A and B, Brett Botkin is one such player. Brent, unfortunately, you're no longer playing Division E.
No.
But thanks to your team, I'm no longer playing Division C
That's true.
because you couldn't win a goddamn game.
Yeah, that's part of my master plan, my friend. Part of my master
Yeah,
plan.
because I told Avram, I was like, you guys afraid to face us. That's the only reason you'd ever lose to No Name.
You know, I'll give you guys credit. You guys, when we played you, I think it was week 3 or week 4, and
Mhm.
you guys are pretty good. Like
With our backup quarterback.
Yeah, well, there you go. Exactly.
Mind you, better than Simo anyway, so it was an improvement. We don't want to go into too many recaps because we have a lot of games to preview.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess, I mean, it might be some duplication from your article, but maybe you can interview me and get my thoughts, and that way your article have your point of view. Chap, also what we'll do, and I love dictating the show on the fly. It's awesome.
I was gonna say, so where's the script that you're supposed to send that I'm not gonna read?
Yeah, I just no. You should know what to do by now. It's playoffs.
It's
You should be in playoff form.
It's 50-50. Yeah, playoff
But
form.
like so for those at home, you might think that this is like a gimmick that we do. So you think like you're getting it's sort of like the table of contents for the show, but it's really just us figuring it out live on the fly as
Can I
we go.
go unorganized on the air?
Yeah.
And
We are disorganized. we had a 3-minute pre-show meeting. It was pretty good. So we'll preview a game and then we'll get into the sorry, we'll recap one game and then we'll get into previews. Chapman, what we'll do is we'll do the previews. We won't do the games
of the week.
That was weak.
Oh, man.
That was games of the week.
I thought I was supposed to also sound confused as you were. You know?
We'll do the games of the week at the end. So we won't actually pick amidst our analysis, which is a word you really need to pronounce carefully when doing a podcast. And then
Analysis.
yeah, that's the one. I'm so happy Rob left. The other thing is what we can do after that is if you can also look up as we're talking the last time teams played if they faced each other.
I mean during this season?
During this
or-
season, yeah.
Okay, because I won't be able to tell all the teams in
No,
seasons
past seasons we'll remember if there was like a notable game in the past, but like from past seasons. But barring that, I know Brent will know offhand if teams have faced each other, but obviously it'll be a lot easier if you can do that while we're breaking it down. But let's get into the one game that actually had playoff significance, which is amazing because how up and down the season has been for so many teams. It's crazy that the playoffs are more or less decided before heading in, save for 3 teams. The teams involved being Choix de Président, DGC, and 4th and 20. 4th and 20 took on Le Choix de Président, and Le Choix de Président did what they had to do. They won this game 23-13. I was actually there for that game. And the Choix de Président were really hyped about this. They had like that playoff feel about them, Like, I don't know if they're ready yet, but they're the kind of team where if things are going well, they can be tougher to beat than you can imagine because their defense is not terrible.
The defense is not terrible at all. And you know what? Like I said, I believe it was on last week's podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have a habit of playing half. So I start off great in the first half and then kind of, mess it up in the second half or vice versa. So they're a team, and I can't blame them for being hyped. The last couple of seasons, they haven't finished with the best records, if you will. But, I mean, finally, they put it all together, and hey, look, they finished 4-6. They needed to win that game, I mentioned in the article. If they had lost, 4th and 21, or Here for the Beer one, or even the Rakins, David Denby stuck in a 3-way tie with my team, the Striking Samurais. And then Striking Samurais, because of division record, would get the 3-way tiebreaker.
You needed the 3-way tiebreaker.
Yeah, and we actually finally won a game, and ended up not helping us out. But again, the Swada Prisoner, they came through in the clutch. They got the W, and they're on to the playoffs. So congratulations to them.
Vince Minetti, 8 completions on 20 attempts, already awful, but then only 10 passing yards. And if you look, there was only 1 true sack, but 5 total sacks because there was 4 bad snaps in this game. One of which was in the end zone for a safety in the second half of the game, when the game was kind of close. It was 14-6. They got a stop, and then they got the ball back, and then there was a safety snapped. Just a heartbreaker. At that moment, it was a heartbreaker. And I was watching the game with 40 Evangelista, who I play with in Division C. We were watching the game because DGC's playoff hopes hinged on a 4th and 20 win. On a short down win, and a 4th and 20 loss. And he was pretty amazed. He's pretty happy. And I was like, I turned to him because it was like, I mean, as happy as short down were, and the fact that again their defense actually looked pretty solid. The mistakes by both teams was like, how can these two teams be responsible for your playoff hit? Because DGC is not bad. They're not a sloppy team. They're just a team that lacks a bit of FPF experience. These teams are sloppy. Yeah. It was just bad football all around. Again, short plays, that key moments, nice moments in the game, but like it was just not pretty. It's not like if an alien came to town and said, "I will spare your planet if you show us some beautiful flag football," because obviously that's what would save us all.
Well, definitely, 100%.
Yeah, but
maybe the sandwiches the champion's supposed to bring, maybe that'll help out too. But
maybe.
Listen, Marco's not here. He's
Marco excused you from buying a sandwich by buying himself a sandwich and sending him a selfie last week.
He never said such words that I was excused.
He said, "Don't buy a sandwich for me next week because I'm going to go to the concert."
He said specifically, he's like, "Let's do sandwiches the week after when I return."
We better have sandwiches next week. That's all I'm saying.
Please read next time.
I will not.
Sandwiches first or Stefan's appearance? I don't know.
Dude, you're as unreliable as Stefan's.
No, I'm not.
Is terribleness a word?
I still have
terribleness
yes,
a word?
Yes, it is. And second of all, I have
it is
7 more weeks of not bringing sandwiches in order to be equivalent to Stefan's. It's only been like 3 weeks.
All right. It's been 3 weeks though.
It feels like it's longer now.
Like if we were waiting for you to bring us our only meal, we would have died of starvation.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, probably.
I got a lot of body fat to go through before that happens.
But 3 weeks.
Yeah, I was gonna say P's gonna start first.
I'd probably start right away because I'm weak. No, bring me food. So let's get up the standings and we'll go through the standings as they ended, and then we'll get into the matchups. Chapman, if you can bring that up on the screen.
I'm totally not prepared. I'll bring it up in just a moment. Don't worry,
See,
guys.
I am actually producing it. I should get your salary too, because I'm producing the show and running it live and doing all the content as well. So
I was going over all the other games to see the duplicate matchups at the same time, but I'll put up the...
Let's put it up. Do you want to read it first, Chap?
Maybe. Maybe not. How about you read it?
I will read it. So, firstly, Striking Samurais, Rakins, Here for the Beer. Thanks for coming out. You can now go home and all have your own beers. Because you're not welcome in the FPF second season. And a serious note, you know what? These are teams that were new for different reasons. Rakin's a new team. Here for the Beer, new team completely. Striking Samurais, new quarterback, and then kind of mismatched core. Take this as an invitation to come back stronger.
For sure.
Fine tune your pieces. I've said it before. Chap, our first season FPF, we were 0-9-1. Within 2 seasons, we were 10-0. And we then lost in the first round of the playoffs. But then
the important thing was
shortly after that, we were 7-3 and in the championship game where we choked the game away. But eventually, I'm just saying, you get better and better each time.
Just so you guys know, when you choke a game, just like eat as many Five Guys burgers as you can.
Yeah, you were disgusting that night. That was
I was very.
That was impressively awful. So for the teams that did make it, Greendale Human Beings, Homo Sapiens, West Delisle Squad, Squall. Yamajo.
Stacion.
Jesus.
I told you I was doing stuff in the background. It's like you don't listen.
Multitask.
But you know that they're coming up. It's on the standings. Anyway, so Yamajo Station, welcome to the playoffs, and you guys all have the buys. The teams playing this weekend: Lost and Now Found, Avocados, Dirty Mike and the Boys, Farmers, Spartans, Just for the Reps, Little Giants, Le Choix Président, and Sons of Mitches. You've all made the dance, so congratulations to all of you. It's if nothing else, it's some free football. So please do enjoy that, and we'll get into each of these games in a second. I just wanted to say.
And here arrives the hero that we need.
The hero that we need, absolutely.
But don't deserve.
I like the Batman reference, Sep. Thank you for that. I do want to give a shout out to Armando Chara. He matched his career total in catches.
In 1 week.
In 1 week. He now has 2 career catches. Boom. I got to say, little by little, one catch at a time, your ability finally is going to reach the level that your mouth is spewing. So, like, keep the trash talk level high, and maybe one day your ability will get quite as high. So that brings us to Conference B, where we have, again, 4th and 20, Friday Night Tykes, Montreal Raiders, first-time teams, especially Montreal Raiders. You really had a rough one. So I want to thank you guys for coming out, but come back next season. Come back stronger. Come back in the winter. Spring season's hard, especially like Montreal Raiders. Spring season's a lot harder to start in because all the teams are FBF teams. There's no cupcakes in the springtime. There's less teams. There's less teams to feed on. Like if you start in winter, instead of going 0-10 Montreal Raiders, you probably win a game or two. But you had a point?
No, definitely. I was going to say, like, speaking to your point before about how your team started off 0-9-1. The first year I did FPF, my team was 0-8-2. 3 seasons later, we were in the championship game as well, which we also managed to choke away. But hey, that's neither here or there. But again, like Peace is saying, guys, keep going forward, keep fighting. You have this experience now, build off of it, and then for the winter season, come back, you'll be stronger for sure. And
in Conference B, the bye teams are surprisingly Hellboys Hotline, less surprisingly Moss City, surprisingly Super Troopers, taking a cannibalistic conference at 6-4, and then TVA at 7-3, below them in the 4 seed. Before we go on, Mocon keeps going on and on about his new playoff format where it's just based on record. What do you think? Do you think we should keep the divisional games? Or do you think we should just rank teams based on record 1 to 24 and whatnot?
I see the pros and I see the cons to what Mo's talking about. Actually, when he replaced you earlier in the season on that podcast,
every time he replaces me, that's what he does.
Yeah,
on every show he replaces
I
me.
try to plug it in.
Like especially Div A and B, where it doesn't even matter because there's so few teams that you're pretty much getting the best teams anyway.
Thank you. I think in this circumstance in Division E, I think you might want to implement Mo's.
But like, okay, so of the teams
format.
that didn't make the playoffs, were there teams that deserved to make the playoffs?
Striking Samurais?
At 3-7? And you won the last game in week 10?
Hey, beating a tough little Giants team, my friend.
That's true.
Actually, you know what? I take that back.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't. Because so many teams make. See, like, I think it's offset because so many teams make the playoffs that it hardly matters. You know what I mean? It's really, really like if you don't make the playoffs, you had a rough season. You know?
Like I can see, for example, in Division C, where a team, let's say, like not Blue Chips, for example, they're a good team record-wise. They had a little losing streak at the end. They can make the argument for wanting to make the playoffs. But I think in Division E,
or home for the holidays.
Yeah, or home for the holidays. That's exactly it. And you guys kind of came together at the right time, getting some W's. Your record doesn't necessarily speak to how good you guys are or how bad you guys are as a team. I can see his argument for that. But if for Division E, where almost everybody makes the playoffs except for 3 teams per conference, I think leaving it how it is, I think makes the best sense. For sure.
Then after TBA, we have Primetime at the 5th spot, who, by the way, a chap and I were talking, and we're happy to not have to face them the first couple of runs because honestly, like, they're fairly new to FPF, but the talent level on this team is extremely high. Mm-hmm. And a lot of teams either have a strong quarterback and a weak supporting cast, or a lot of athletes and not a good quarterback. Honestly, Primetime is a really well balanced team, start to finish. Yeah. Part of my swag, pension plan, Smoking Axles at 8, Expendables coming back strong after the winless first season.
Yeah, that's right.
They're in the ninth spot, going 5-5 this season. Face Jazz 4 at 6, 1 Speed Power 3-7, and finally DGC at 2-8. So those are the playoff teams. Congratulations to all. Let's get into some playoff previews. We'll go with it chronologically in terms of like how the games will actually happen this upcoming weekend. If I'm not mistaken, all the games are on Sunday.
Yep.
And that brings us to our first game. Sorry, the internet's lagging a little bit as it has been past couple of weeks. DGC has the unfortunate task of facing that upstart primetime team that we talked about. What are your initial thoughts coming into this, Brent?
No offense to DGC, but I think it's going to be ugly. Primetime right now, they've been one of the best teams in the entire division. I believe it's 4 in a row. Their offense has looked unstoppable. I mentioned last week, they almost dropped a 60 burger on you guys. They put up 34 the week after against Friday Night Tykes, 28 against a veteran Just for the Reps team. And even last week against another really good team in Part of My Swag, they dropped 28 points, almost 30 points. It's with DGC, the question is, how are they going to be able to not just stop Primetime offensively, but how are they going to be able to score enough points to keep up with them?
Yeah. I kind of agree. I think what DGC needs to do, the method here has to be Nicholas Borelli needs to... Actually, Nicholas Borelli's not even throwing anymore, so he's been replaced. But I think the offense needs to slow down. I think they need to take the ball out of his hands a little bit and let Andrew Demeli just slow down the pace of the game and keep the ball away from the primetime offense. Because Stephen Harper-Sow is a kind of a rhythm quarterback. He runs a very familiar style to me in that he's just a more talented piece. He runs a lot of the same plays. It was frustrating when I recognized them and we couldn't stop them because of how well he executes them. I'm like, guys, these are all the plays we run. How can you not stop him? And there was no answer. And I think that the only way you can do that is offset his rhythm by taking time on offense and getting the ball out of his hands.
Well, in the games that I've seen, obviously taking the ball out of his hands is going to be key. In the games that I've seen Primetime play, he struggles when it's really fast rusher that gets in his face really quickly, as you mentioned, throwing off the timing. And when you take away all the short routes, as the defenders, you guys have to jump the hooks. You have to jump the crossing routes. Because his deep ball isn't bad. Yeah. But his strength, as you mentioned, Peace 2.0, is still in the underneath routes.
He's marching upfield.
Exactly. Dinking and dunking here and there, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And he has the athletes to make plays in space once they get the ball in their hands. So I can absolutely see that. For primetime, look, they have just a well-balanced receiving core. I talked about the balance before. They have 5 players with at least 20 reception. Josh Levine, Mason Nagarne, Cheyenne Stewart. Cheyenne Stewart has 29 catches, only played 6 games.
Yeah.
And 8 of those going for touchdowns. Just a huge part of this team. Michael Ianella, being a great possession guy for Stephen Harper-Sow. He has 10 of his 20 catches went for touchdowns, so definitely great red zone threat. And Brendan Sablov, a guy we know well, a guy who's got a lot of talent and can play in the higher divisions of this league fairly easily. He led the team with 33 catches. So very well-balanced team. I think DGC will struggle as well, but we'll get our official picks in as soon as we get to that part of the show. Spartans take on Just for the Reps.
Who faced each other in Week 10.
Thank you, Chapman. I was there for this game. Just for the Reps looked very frazzled. They looked really, and it's kind of what I pointed to a couple of weeks ago. I hope you guys aren't listening poorly again, because I'm not talking trash. What I'm going to say is fairly benign. So with that preface, what I was saying about them was that they were playing okay, but not particularly strong. Not in a way that I think can really put teams away in the playoffs. And this is a good example that there was a lot of plays that didn't go their way. They were looking for calls. They were doing things that teams do when they struggle. You know, when you're winning, you're not looking for calls. When you're putting up lots of points, you're not looking for calls. I'm guilty of that. I do that all the time because I'm not that great. So I'm looking for all the help I can get. You know.
I know it's gonna happen right now. I'm gonna open my mouth and I'm gonna hear about it.
Get your phone ready.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Justin, I'm winning for you, homie. What's gonna happen is, okay. Actually, you know what? Let me go back to your point about looking for calls. Whether you win or lose, you know what, the referees sometimes are going to miss a call. It happens. It happens with my team, anybody's team, NFL, CFL.
Happens
FBF.
more with my team than anyone else.
That's exactly it. And you shouldn't be looking for calls. You guys should be good enough to take advantage of what's given to you, and you should be good enough to not have to rely on the referees for call. And you know what? This is a team, just for the rest. We said it time and time again. They're a good team. Are they good enough to win in crunch time? Are they good enough to, when they're backed against the walls, to come up with the play? We saw last week, they weren't. They were torn apart by Daniel Hernandez, who's usually a DB. I mean, this year he's playing a bit more wide receiver. Mm-hmm. He burned him for 3 touchdowns. So, again, I speak to my point that I've been
there's guys on the Spartans that don't have jerseys. Yeah. Which is, there's a lot of missing stats.
There's some missing stats. But you know what? They've been around for a while, the Spartans. They're not going to do anything new, anything impressive.
Well, but here's so I played with James Andrew this week in Division D. He's sub for missing Justin Blanchard. Unfortunately, it was disastrous. And what it was is that his playbook is very much tailored specifically to the players that he has and to a specific kind of player. And where the Spartans struggled in the season, I'm looking at them now and I'm like, oh, Charles David Martel qualifies for playoffs. Alexandre Joubinville, one of the best players nobody knows about, sub for me in Division C this week, by the way. Yep. Held his own Division C.
He's a very good player.
A very, very good player. Rusher Sumishan not appearing on the stat sheet. He was in Jared Buck's face all game. He's a friend of mine, so I stuck around to watch a bit of the game because it was the first time I got to see him play in FPF. I recommended him actually to Spartans. As he messaged me saying, "Hey, I'm looking for a team." I said, "All my teams are full, but my buddy James is looking for guys." Yeah. And look, James's system with his guys, there's a lot of crossing at different levels and takes a lot of chemistry, a lot of time, and is helped by having speedy, tall, athletic receivers because it limits the area, the throwing window that you got to throw it into. He threw me on a corner from the snap position where I boxed that one guy and then it was undercut by another receiver because I'm like, man, I'm not that snapper. I'm not that guy who can make that play for you.
A lot of his play calling is just, you know what, to be honest, tossing it up there, letting those tall athletic guys like Adele Messi or Charles David Martel just jump up and make a play.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I mean, I was happy to see Spartans do well in this game. But it was a close game, so it's a game that can go either way. And we'll talk about that when we get to the games of the week. So many teasers. Chapman, what's the next game?
Dirty Mike and the Boys versus Le Choix du Président. They never faced each other this season.
Or ever, I don't believe. I will give one word of advice to the Choix du Président. Try to get under the skin of Dirty Mike and the Boys. Nothing particular. Don't be dirty. Don't try and hurt anybody, but you can always hurt feelings. The only way we stood a chance, because they're a far superior team to we were. Chapman was guarding Jared Gallant, and it was funny. Chapman cried a little after the game when he found out that Jared Gallant's like 17 years old, and he made a catch over him in the back of the end zone where he had absolutely no chance. But at one point we were just talking trash because we said, "Look, let's just go out, let's have fun, let's have a good second half, let's have a good time." Because we were fairly locked in the standings anyway, so this game truly meant nothing for us. But man, like what I experienced was, first of all, Jordan Allard is one of the best players in FPF currently. I would say
no, he's not. Rob, don't raise that rating. It's on my CT Ski that rating word. In fact, lower that rating, my friend. Lower it.
Rob doesn't listen to Division E, or I would have been fired a long time ago.
I don't think Rob listens to any of the podcasts.
He listens to the divisions.
He listens to the intro and then he tunes out like right after, you know.
Division A. In Division B, we've seen, for example, Jordan Allard's presence. We've seen it. He played in Commission 2, right? Division C.
Yeah, I played on my team in C. Yeah.
I'm telling you, Jordan Allard, skill set wise, is one of the top 25 two-way players in FPF. People will disagree, but I'm very impressed by his. Not like a lot of the two-way guys are just very good receivers and kind of okay DBs or great shutdown DBs.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of good receivers.
Exactly.
He's a legitimate two-way player in FPF.
Yeah, he is.
In terms of technique, in terms of ability, man, there was a couple times where I made a throw where I was like, for example, I threw Chapman on the corner. I was like, Chapman's open. His hips opened the other way. And I saw him turn his hips and run to the ball like a tackle DB is supposed to do, which you don't see a lot of in Division E. So I was thoroughly impressed with his ability. Absolutely. Definitely. And I mean, I haven't. I've seen him play. I've covered the higher divisions for a long time. And it took a lot of scheming in terms of how we're gonna get guys, just because of how we had to play with, where he was in the field. That said, where his game started to fall apart as a quarterback is we started to talk trash, and he got so upset with me. He didn't want to shake my hand after the game. We're cool now, by the way. We talked. I saw him next day at Stade Montréal.
Exactly,
we're good.
Exactly.
It's not truly hard feelings, but he's so competitive.
And that's the thing. Listen, with my game in C, you're on the sideline watching us. We played against No Name, and I don't remember what was said to him, but he made a catch, and I believe it was Jonathan.
A lot of talking that game.
Yeah. There's a lot of time. I mean, we hate those guys. They hate us, and they got lucky and whatever.
we got unlucky. But anyway,
we're missing.
Never lucky.
We'll let GM and Mo talk about the Division C podcast.
Yeah, I hear. Mo already told me he's going to talk a lot of shit. Anyways, whatever. It's Jordan's a great athlete, as you mentioned. I agree with all the things you're saying. I think an underrated two-way player. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I took him on my team this year. He played with us last spring. I didn't know that he was so good on defense.
He is,
and
absolutely.
I purposely brought him on. I'm like, all right, you're going to play receiver, and I didn't think we'd be using him on defense like we have, but you know what? He's done a great job all year. I have no complaints whatsoever. I would definitely love to bring him back, and I'm sure Jordan, you watch right now. I'd love to have you back.
You have months for your sales.
No, yeah. But you know what? I'm gonna take you back. I'm gonna get my DeLorean and bring him back. And Jordan knows what I'm talking about here. Right. Last season, at the end of the regular season, I said to Jordan, this coming winter 2017, I want you back on the team. I had met Jordan from playing it outside in a touch league, and he was like, "Oh, I'm like, you know what? This kid's pretty good. He has some moves." I brought him in last spring at the behest of Sean Avram, who's my quarterback, as you guys know and see. And I was like, "All right, let's see what this kid has." I think he played 6 games. He had about 6 or 7 touchdowns. I'm too lazy to look at the stats right now, but anyways, he tore it up. He got my attention.
No,
and
this is not related to the V.
Chapman, I have a question. Look this up. How many touchdowns did Jordan Lillard have last season with Brent's team? The commission?
Yeah,
with the commission.
So, anyways, long story short,
I love that makes you have to look it up.
Injury.
Oh, good job, Vinny. Good job.
I'm done.
Anyways, long story short, I said, okay, you know what, dude? You've had a good season for us last spring. I want you back for the winter. He's like, yeah, you know what? I'm back. He goes, if I play on 3 teams, I'm going to play for you guys for sure. Blah, 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 blah. A whole bunch of months go by, and now I believe it's late November, I'm putting together the team, as we usually do. Start getting the ball moving.
American Thanksgiving's when I start.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I usually gone for Black Friday, so when I come back on the Monday, I start to get the ball rolling on most guys. There's some guys that I know that are core dudes, but guys who I'm like, I'm not sure maybe, or another free agent from another team, or not a free agent, but another guy from another team who I want, start in November. So
8 TDs.
He's like, there you go. Yeah, he had 8 TDs, and I'm thinking about like 6 games. Anyways, I'm like, yeah, bro, so let's do this, I'm going to have Sean back throwing and have this guy, that guy, and that guy. Oh, man, I totally forgot. There's another guy that had asked me to play literally like a week and a half before you, and I already gave my word for him. His word is his bond.
But you asked him months ago.
Yes, thank you. So I'm saying he forgot about it. Whatever, it all worked out. He's back playing for me now in the spring. Mm-hmm. But you know what? And a lesson for all you new teams or teams with not that much experience. It's never too early to start getting free agents or guys you're not even sure if they're free agents. If there's a guy that you
start talking to people.
Start talking to people. It's never too early.
Hey, we stole willpower from Smoking Axles.
Well, then why are you telling me? You have months to plan your team. You have all winter to do it.
I know. I just didn't want you to occupy the entire show recruiting free agents.
No, I'm a little long.
In our next game,
Jordan, come back. For the winter.
Baby, come back.
Let's get it done.
Someone's got to like censor him. Should I just mute him next?
Yeah, that's the next move. Just hit the mute. I do want to point out real quickly, Brendan Burke, Jared Gallant, Jordan Lillard, Tyler Dossett, and another guy we haven't talked about all season, but he's a very good defender, Joel Terry and Laro.
Yeah, he is.
He shadowed Lucas Blanchard all game, and at one point I told him, I was like, dude, I'm sorry. I can't look at you.
Yeah. I
cannot throw the ball to you. You're never open, And it's that's a very good defense to start with. So I'm happy to see that. For the choix président, again, just very quickly, and we'll get into a little bit when we make our picks. But there's a couple of guys here too. Nicolas Lefebvre, very underrated player in FPF. Philip Tremblay as well. Philip Tremblay tends to play that one spot in the 4-1, and man, he is all over the field. So Chapman, next game.
Smoking Axles versus the Expendables. This is another rematch of Week 10. where the Smoking Axles won 33-24.
Well,
Can they beat the same team twice?
I always say it's tough to beat the same team twice.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's
Thanks,
tough.
man.
It's tough to beat the same team
Gotcha.
twice because, like, they know a lot of your plays. They know what you like to do. They know your strengths. They know your weaknesses at this point. So that said, the Smoking Axles have Jordan Rossi having an incredible season: 42 touchdowns, 11 interceptions.
Yeah.
Only sacked 4 times, which has usually been the bane of his existence, is getting chased down in the pocket, losing a ton of yards, and throwing interceptions and getting sacked. So I'm happy to see that he's improved his play that way. It's going to be tough for Expendables to deal with just a well-rounded offense that features Jason Rossi, features Royce Margin, features Snapper Martin Geary, a lot of talent, Chris Brockwell. Just a lot of pieces. Smoking Axles don't always have the best attendance when it comes to their roster in come playoff times, which we've seen before. But I think they're deep enough that they'll give the Expendables a hard time. Tell us a little bit about the Expendables, because you know them fairly intimately, a lot better than I do anyway.
Intimately, he says.
Yeah. Friday night oysters, some candles. Chapman, look up if there's a better food aphrodisiac than oysters.
They're a team that, being the Expendables, they have some explosive weapons on their team. Let's be honest here. Jason Herview. Sorry, I just totally pronounced that wrong. Jason Herview. Yeah, more or less same thing. Anyways, Marvin Perard, Damien Jean-Jacques. He's a very underrated player in this division. I like him a lot. He made some big plays for his team, averaging 20 yards a catch. My worry about them, though, is going against a veteran team like the Smoking Axles. It's a team who literally, as I said time and time again this year, came within one play of winning the spring championship last year. So my question with the Expendables is, do they have enough firepower and to basically get the scoring up, if you will, to match points with the Smoking A's? Because the Smoking A's are a team who, they're known for the defense, but they can light up the scoreboard, and they've done it time and time again this season. So I'm just worried.
Well, and a lot of it's due to their defense, because if they get a couple of extra possessions, they likely will score, and then you need to protect the ball.
And that's exactly it. So will they be able to not turn over the ball, and will they be able to put enough points on the board? Talent-wise, the Expendables can, but the question is, will they be able to against such a smart and aggressive defense that is the Smoking A's?
Amazingly, David Ronaldi, quarterback, only completed 81 passes this season. That worries me a lot against such a stout defense. When you consider
That's what I'm saying.
that Stephen Harpersall is he was the leader in completed passes this season. He completed 157 passes, nearly double.
Yeah.
So that worries me a lot. And you see Jordan Rossi completing 138. He's 7th. That's the kind of stat you look at. And you're like, well, one team's moving the ball out, the other one's not. They're going to need turnovers. They're going to need pick sixes. They'll need a couple of big plays, and they need to win a game, an ugly game like 25-20, 22-21, that kind of game,
And that's the thing, and I mentioned before, Damien Jean-Jacques, who's their ball hawk with 5 picks on the defense for the Expendables. He's going to have to go one-on-one with Royce Emergian. And as we've seen since his debut in the wintertime, I wish Stephens was here. He'd be like, that's no easy task. You know what? That's no easy task going against Royce Emergian. He's a beast in his division. He's one of those guys who, for now, is in Division E, Division 6. That's not going to be lasting for long. Yeah, that's exactly it. Sorry, guys. It is what it is. But, I mean, can Damien Jean-Jacques go toe-to-toe with this guy all game long? That's going to be a big question.
It'll be tough. Yeah. Chapman, who are farmers?
We are farmers, versus Little Giants, who faced off against each other in week 2.
And what happened?
Little Giants won 24-14. Also, according to the only list I found, Oysters are number 1.
Oh. I mean, thank you. Who's the list? Who made the list?
I have to look it up again. Bastard.
Just leave
oysters,
the tab open.
Oysters, almonds, asparagus
Asparagus.
instead of asparagus. That's the true plural of asparagus, by the way. Banana, chocolate, avocado, pumpkin seeds, basil, egg,
but
pine nuts, figs, vanilla, pineapple,
Who's the
carrots.
source?
ShareRanks.com.
So click.
All right.
All right.
It's clearly not a reliable source.
The Little Giants have been so up and down. There's one of these tough, gritty teams like, Homo Sapiens beat them 13-12, and Dirty Mike and Boys, who can be very prolific, only beat them 32-15. You guys beat them last week.
night, yeah.
Last
There you
night,
go.
19-12. So they don't have a ton of firepower, but they managed to keep things close. What stood out when you played against them? What stood out on their defense?
Actually, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't there last night to play them, but
Thanks, Brent.
yeah, no problem. I got you.
I mean, I see Dylan Drake with 7 interceptions. I see Shane Hughes, quarterback Shane Hughes, with 5 interceptions as well. Mark Rinaldi, 5 interceptions. So they're guys who make plays. Most teams don't have one guy with 5 interceptions. They have 2 and a guy with 7.
You know what? To be honest, though, speaking to your point, they are a team that keeps it close. I mean, it was 13-12 against those guys last night at the half, and they only they only let up 6 points in the second half. So they have the defense that could turn it on, and they have some players like you mentioned, Dylan Drake. I think he's one of the more underrated players as well in this division, two-way players at least. It's the question I have with these guys. Part of me is whether they'll be able to turn it on and keep pace with the Farmer, because the Farmers, they're another team. This is the I don't want to say the chameleon game. This is the game where it's the what are you going to get game. Are you going to get the Farmers team who is capable of letting up the scoreboard and dropping 30, or are you going to get the team who struggles to score offensively as they've had this season? And it's the same thing with Little Giants.
What's amazing is we made such a big deal about Corey Greenway being on this team and how much he's helped. But like Simon Vien quietly had 46 catches and 19 touchdowns. I mean, I don't know how you do that quietly, but he did. He did. You know what I mean? He's not a guy we know a ton about. It's second or third season in FBF. The guys I expected to have a big impact on this team: Corey Greenway, Jonathan Legault. Jonathan Legault played only one game. His one catch of 14 yards exactly tied the effort of Sons of Mitch's wide receiver Armando Trotta. In one game, matched half of his career effort. So
driving that bus forward, driving that bus backwards in reverse.
Yeah, nonstop. So when you look at that season by Simon Vien, it's like, man, like you can't leave a guy like Corey Greenway qualifies for the playoffs. You can't leave a guy like him unattended. But man, you're gonna need to put a lot of attention on Simon Vien.
And another guy too, who doesn't get enough love, Maxime Pavin.
Yeah, absolutely.
A great player.
We noticed him when we played against him last season.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that guy's good. Once this team knows what they're doing, they're gonna get a lot better than we saw it this season.
There you go. And as we've been saying all season long, it's going to come down to which quarterback's going to show up for the good Benoit Robideau or the bad Benoit Robideau. When the good Benoit Robideau comes through, they could put up the points, man. But again, like I said, this is which team are you going to get game?
Benoit Robideau, if you're watching the show, I have an acronym for you. DBP. Don't be peace. Don't have a good and bad self. Just try and keep it consistent. Try to keep it chill. Try and play your offense.
There you go. Just be smart and take what the defense gives you, because you know what? When you're smart and when you don't turn over the ball, your team could beat almost anybody in Division E.
I wish I was smart. Speaking of which,
Pardon My Swag versus One Speed Power.
we should all show up in Hawaiian shirts.
Oh my God!
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's call Sportiera for new uniforms right now.
That'd be awesome, actually.
Yeah.
Hawaiian shirt uniforms.
It would be. No one would have to ever wear pennies.
Well, also, Woods P Power would never wearing pennies. Our jerseys are basically pennies.
Yeah, they're weird. that gradient shit is a little weird. But anyway, the refs are confused. They're like, "Oh, the green team, yellow. I'm not sure what to call them."
I've had and I'm colorblind, so I actually don't know what the jerseys are. But I've had refs being like, "All right, yellow, green, blue, turquoise."
That's exactly
aqua.
what happens.
I got aqua.
It's a lime green, the bright pink guys. All right, it's good time.
So they faced each other in week 9, where Pardon My Swag won 31-19. Bad Peas was playing that game.
Bad Peas was in the house. Bad Peas was in the
He's
house.
raising the roof there.
But we lost them with Jesse Racine quarterback, and we lost them without a Hawaiian shirt adorning Brad Evans. So I mean, it's a game that there's going to be a lot of scheming involved because we know each other fairly well. Brad Evans knows my entire playbook of 3 plays, and we've played against Brad Evans like 4 or 5 times, and I know Avery Lala. I've coached against Avery Lala, so I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be one of the more compelling games of the week, or it's going to be awful. Brent, your take.
Way to cover both spectrums, please.
Say nothing.
Well, let's go to the next game. No,
No problem.
I mean it's gonna be a good game. I mean, will Avery Lala be the quarterback for part of my swag? We haven't gotten any information that said that he won't be, but I mean he's had a lot of quarterback clinics and that, so he's missed a number of games this season. If he
Which,
is
by the
there-
way, if there's ever a reason to miss, like, that's awesome.
It's the
Congrats.
playoffs. Yeah, well,
I couldn't be.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying the opposite.
I know,
thing.
I got you.
I'm saying I'm happy for the dude. He's such a good kid.
No, he is.
I'm
He's a great
really
kid.
happy for him. I
Great
really am.
family, for sure. 100%. I mean, if he's there, I'll be honest, I don't like your chances, but we'll get to that in our predictions later. He's a smart kid. He's an up-and-coming kid. I've said on and on this season, even in the winter season. I think if he decides to stay in FPF, he could be the future of the league at the quarterback position. It's an explosive offense that could drop points on the board on anybody when they're clicking, when they're meshing. It's also a team who we've seen in a couple of performances with either Jesse Racine at quarterback or even this season with Lala, who has admitted he struggled a bit this season adjusting to the FPF game a little bit. Coming from tackle, he's a quarterback with the Chattagay Raiders. It's a game where I think, on paper, part of my swag should win, but again, you guys are a veteran team. Being one speed power, you guys have.
Called us old.
You guys are a veteran team with some game breakers. You guys have the talent to keep it close and to knock them off, and it's going to be a matter of whether the part of my swag team who last season experienced a bit of success in the playoffs as opposed to usually the team who usually has some problems in the postseason.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a matter of whether they could keep some of the confidence in the scoring and the defensive ability that they have, whether they're going to be able to transfer that in now what is a huge game.
Yeah. I noticed something interesting about myself this season, and I wanted to point it out. I don't talk often about myself in the podcast, but being out talking about one speed power and the matchup this weekend, I realized at one point I was talking to Chapman. I said I have to be the only quarterback in FPF that can throw like 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 200 yards in the same game, and complete 60% of my passes. So it's something where. Like you said, I don't even think there's that good peas and bad peas is game to game. It's gotten to a point where it's drive to drive. And I can imagine it's horribly frustrating for the people I play with. Because you look, and there's 4 receivers on this team with a minimum of 220 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And Will Power put up 662 yards, in this offense in 9 games. So, I mean, like, it's an offense that moves the ball. So a lot of times you see teams that struggle and literally they don't move the ball. They have 8 completions in the game. That's not the case here. The offense is stalled because of the turnovers.
Yeah.
So I mean, the key comes down to, in my opinion, whether bad peas can limit the turnovers.
Just so you know, you threw the most picks ever in your career this season.
Yeah, I learned less.
Your TD to like interception ratio is almost
worst.
1-to-1.
Yeah.
So it's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad.
And
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That's been the issue because the offense overall,
One speed turnover.
the offense hasn't been bad. But Chap, like, and again, like again, I don't.
That's your new name next season. My bad. Sorry.
It's not bad actually. We have an Apple turnover.
Spot on.
as the
Yeah,
logo.
spot on.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
But so the thing is, and like I'm one of these people. I don't mind to be vulnerable. I don't mind to take shots on myself or whatever because who cares?
Oh, you
But-
take shots in the field. 29 picks. You took shots.
But I'm saying like I don't mind being the butt in the joke. But like so like I'm sure it's frustrating because again, it's must suck to drive the field and then have Pease throw an interception on the 1 yard line that goes for 6.
Heartbreaking.
You know what I
pick.
mean?
It's
It's-
deflating. No other words.
All right. Chapman, a man of so few words, he's barely literate. Chapman, can you look up the least literate president of the United States?
Is it not Donald Trump?
We don't know that.
If
I mean, he tweets a lot. He uses a lot of words. He's even made up words.
Only 140 characters per tweet. There's a reason why he uses Tweeter.
I just want to know. I just want to know what the internet says. I don't actually want to know the truth. I just want to know what the internet says. Fake news. But yeah, so anyway, so that was just the bit of analysis, taking a step aside to try and look at myself as unobjectively as possible. And I've talked to guys that have played with this season, and I've said, I must be awful to play with. For that reason, is that you don't know what to expect. Again, not even game to game. Drive to drive.
But
Down to down.
that could work in your favor, though. That could actually work in your favor, my
The
friend.
defense seems to know what to expect, though.
Be on the field all game.
I
Would
mean,
that
their
be
defense. When they intercept me.
Will Peace throw the spiral, or will it be the punt pass?
The knuckleball.
No, is that the knuckleball? Will it be the Tim Wakefield or the?
The 100
Ooh,
ball,
nice reference.
The 100 ball knuckleball, the 100-mile-an-hour knuckleball slant that bruises Chapman.
break your fingers left, right, and center. There you go, my friend.
I'm so abused.
Well, and yeah, anyway, that's a lot of analysis for one team. So we'll move on. Lost but now found avocados.
Versus Sons of
Sons of
Mitches.
How many catches do you think Armando Trotta has? I'm going to send the over under at 0.5.
Hold on a second. They faced each other in week 5.
No, but wait. I need.
Well, but
we
we
need
need
bets.
to
Okay, how many catches did Armando Trotta have in that game?
I'm going to go with 0.
Nice.
Wow.
Well, we know it's 0 because he only caught one pass all season. It was last week.
Go
ahead.
Lost Avocados beat Sons of Mitches 24-6 in week 5.
All right.
That is all.
Thomas Zorco, receiver of the year for Lost Avocados.
Yeah.
Question mark?
I like his name because it's almost like Thomas Zorro.
Yeah. He should like his touchdown dance should be like running over to a dude and carving a Z. Like after he burns a guy, carve a Z with your finger.
Yes.
You know what? I think
He gets so
Rob.
flagged.
No. As long as you don't touch him, it should be completely legal.
Just point over at him like Z.
I think Rob should make him play with the Zorro mask. Like from now on, just.
Is there a rule against playing with the Zorro mask?
I don't think
There is no rule against
mean,
this. You should do it.
Tom, you know what's next. But yeah, like honestly, I'm really impressed. I like Samuel Demore a lot. Mo didn't know who he was when he subbed, but and another guy too who's emerged in this offense as well as Matthew Guindo, playing a nice, solid contributor role in this offense. Every offense needs a guy like Matthew Guindo, so I'm looking forward to that. So is Zorco the receiver of the year for you? Which we'll touch on award winners. I think Simon Dashney sent me the nominees, so I'll be able to announce them on the show.
Yeah.
Also, Lincoln, least educated president, so also least literate. 1 year of formal education
There we go. Now we know.
for people who actually wanted to know.
But he was so tall, it didn't matter. Plus, he killed vampires and was it werewolves?
I'm not sure which one it was, but he
Chapman?
sounds pretty awesome.
Chapman.
I'm not looking this up.
You need to. There's 2 movies: Lincoln versus vampires and Lincoln versus zombies. Sorry, it was Lincoln versus both incredible movies, by the way. An alternate history view. Brent, you look very confused.
I mean, you know, being the only black person here tonight, I'm gonna say, Lincoln also.
Oh wow, he's got to play the race
Lincoln,
card.
Yeah, I will. I will on this one. Lincoln mean a big step in terms of abolishing slavery, but that's we're going to talk about killing vampires as his biggest accomplishment.
And I didn't say biggest. I said he also. I said it's awesome.
In addition
But
to
okay,
all his other accomplishments, Brent.
Just say watch the movie. You can watch Lincoln
I'm
too. It's
saying,
also a
but-
good movie.
but
And yes, abolishing slavery was great. Absolutely. I never said slavery is awesome, Brent.
But if you're going to talk about the fact that he's the least educated president of all time.
It's not a quotations. He's actually the least educated.
I'm so okay,
Take
fine.
those air
Taking
quotes.
those quotes out of there. The
Take
quotes
those
are
quotes
gone.
back.
The quotes are gone. But
My grandfather only 2 years of education. Doesn't mean he wasn't a smart guy. He just wasn't formally educated.
I'm just saying that's not his biggest claim to fame. Is
Absolutely. I asked a separate question.
We never said it was his biggest
talked about A,
claim
B,
to
and
fame.
C, and I'm just saying you may want to just you might want to lead with the abolishment of slavery.
Abraham Lincoln.
But that's not what he asked me to look up.
Hey,
I know,
Chapman,
but
Brent,
I'll tell you,
it's not what he asked me to
way you
look
were
up.
going with the
but
conversation.
here's the thing. Because I think a lot of sports talk, and I think this is why a lot of people hate me and hate us. A lot of sports talk is
People hate me?
this. Well, yes. Do you read your mentions? A lot of a lot of sports talk is this, but then this.
True.
A lot of the things we actually talk about is this and this and this. So when I say I like this team and they have struggled, it's not but they have struggled. To me, it's not a negative thing. It's just factual. So, some facts about Abraham Lincoln. Tall AF. Wore a wicked hat. Got shot by a guy who was brainwashed in Montreal. Look it up. The abolished slavery. His greatest claim to fame.
The abolished slavery.
He abolished.
The abolishing of
I heard
slavery.
And he abolished slavery. And vampires and zombies. Watch all 3 movies. Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln versus zombies, Abraham Lincoln versus vampires, all of which amazing.
You just did it again, by the way. You kind of had it low on your list. I'm just, want to put that out there. But hey,
Alright,
I'm just saying.
Of course,
I love
the
you,
black
I love
man
you.
says this.
I wasn't
Right.
saying, wait, what were
Fight
you
the
doing?
power. Damn white people, I tell you.
But again, I
How does it feel
wasn't
dealing with us
ranking
every
it in
week?
order of importance. I was just listing
And
stuff.
you still put it low on the list.
But I wasn't ranking it in importance. Anyway, just interesting facts.
I'm busting it.
I hope so,
got you.
because he sounded really serious.
So,
On next week's podcast,
course.
if Pete shows up with a black eye or some missing teeth, it was all Chapman's fault, not mine.
It's Brent
Oh,
who's
Chapman's
responsible,
fault.
just so you guys know.
I'm a lover, not a fighter. Come on, you can't you're blaming the black guy now. Eh?
seriously, what's wrong with you, Chapman? What are you doing?
I'm
If
racist.
Pete
What
goes
can I
missing,
say?
it's got to be the black guy's fault. A
But I thought
1,000%.
last week we got rid of racism. By the way, I thought that's what our accomplishment was last week of the podcast.
I thought
It's
so
back.
too, but it's still there. It's still there. Yeah.
It is,
Never really
absolutely.
get rid of it.
Canada, America, bah.
It is what it is,
Doesn't
man.
matter.
Patrick Manning. He's a guy who hasn't evolved a lot in FPF as quarterback, and part of it is he's taken seasons off. Do you think he can do what it takes to win a game here against the Los Avocados, or will it truly be a defensive effort?
I think for them to succeed, well, since I mentioned as a whole, they're going to have to make it a defensive effort. Going toe-to-toe, if you will, against a team like Los Avocados or Los Avocados, however you want to call them, for a team like Santa Mitchell, that's not going to be the best game plan in their matchup. Los Avocados, going back to that right now. Los Avocados put up 24 points. I mean, Santa Mitchell did do a decent job, at least of not letting them drop a 30 burger on them, not letting them drop a 40 burger, because we've seen Los Avocados. They've had the penchant. They have the talent to light up some teams with their offense, with a guy like Sam Namora, with Thomas Zorko, and Guindon as well. So,
But when you see Sons of Mitches, though, like their games tend to be in that area. Short of week 3 where they got lit up by Greendale Human Beings to score 46 points, which is an elite offense, and getting beat up by the Hot Boys Hotline. The scores tend to be around the 30 mark.
And that's exactly it. And I mean, and against a team like Los Avocados, that's going to be, they kept them. You look at 24-6, right? I mean, it does look like a blow up, but at the half of that game, it was 6-0 for Los Avocados. So it's not as if Los Avocados just came in there and laid the hammer down and it was over by halftime and they started having a beer on the sideline and laughing it up. No, not at all.
They may have also done that.
Oh, I mean, they could have. But Santa Mitch's, I mean, they have the talent to knock off a team like Los Avocados, but they will need Patrick Manning to have more than 46 yards as he had in their first matchup. Yeah. They will need
and a lot of it again is
when
when he's rolling out like he tends to. Someone crashes from the opposite side of the field. He no longer has the flood working in his favor, and then he takes a sack or he throws out of bounds or he throws at a guy's feet. He's just trying to avoid having a turnover, but it won't be effective in playoffs unless he makes some changes quick, in my opinion. Chapman, final game.
The Pension Plan versus Face Jazz, who faced each other in Week 8.
I faced both these teams. The Pension Plan, I think, just have more of a spark. Anthony Segia is just one of the most impressive athletes in the division. Yeah. Just raw athleticism, especially now that he's lost some weight. He's so quick. He was quick as a big dude, and now he's insanely quick. And Vince Pisano, runs an excellent offense, and Face Jazz have had trouble against methodical offenses this season, and Vince Pisano is nothing if not methodical.
Yeah.
Yet you have doubts.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I played against Pension Plan. They kicked our butts 33-12 back in week 7. They have good players. I mean, they have the firepower to put up points on the board. It's for me. I think in this game, it's it's going to kind of be if which Vince Pisano is going to show up. It's going to be the Vince Pisano who limits the turnovers, who makes smart decisions with the ball, who hooks up with Anthony Sagia, who gets the ball in the hands of the underrated Junior Spera. I mean,
have you ever
he's a
played
big
Junior
guy.
Spera?
I played against Junior Spera, and I'm not gonna lie, he caught a touchdown on me, and he laid me. I don't want to say laid me out, but he put. Okay, being a big dude,
He's a strong dude.
being a big dude, I'm used to the guy. I'm the guy who catches the ball and kind of puts the shoulder into somebody's chest. He caught the ball on me at the goal line and trucked me with a shoulder to my sternum, which shocked me. And again, as a guy who's used to laying the shoulder down on people and kind of
Not that we're advocating
having
for
a
it.
little laugh to myself about it, he laid his shoulder into my chest and it fully, I didn't fall on my butt, but I was just like, oh.
Did he apologize after?
Wow.
Because that's what he does.
Yeah, no,
So-
he's
so
a
I was
stand-up
guarding
guy.
him.
He's a stand-up guy.
Like-
But I just want to say, that shoulder, like literally, it was like, whoa,
It took a year of your life.
wow.
You're gonna die a year younger.
I'm like, that's
that
how
play.
that feels. That's how that feels.
Oh, that's what I've
I
been
was
doing
like,
to everybody
all
else.
right. That's how that feels. And I had, I shook the man's hand later on in the game in the line. I was like, you know what, dude, I'm impressed. I was impressed with him, and I was impressed with his team. He has great hands. He uses his body. He's not going to be anybody with speed, obviously, but he uses his body to create separation, to get open, and yeah,
He ran a hook. I saw the hook. I broke on the hook. I was trying to get to the ball, put my shoulder into his back, and I went flying. He caught the ball, turned to me after I hit him and said, "Bro, I'm sorry." And he kept running.
yeah.
He's such a good dude, and he's such a good. He was all Canadian offensive lineman when he was playing tackle. So he's a phenomenal athlete. Like, don't let the size fool you. He's a great
Yeah,
athlete,
yeah.
great soft hands. In the red zone, he's a monster. He's a monster. He just, if the ball's thrown to him on a hook, you just be in front of it, because if you're not, you don't have a chance to break up the ball.
It should, and if it's low pass, if it's a pass near the ground, he will dive and come up with the catch.
Yeah, every single time.
Yeah,
Every single time.
100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
For Face Jazz, it's a team somewhat in disarray, a little up and down all season long. It's been somewhat of a long season for them. They lost the last week after taking an L in a forfeit in week 9.
Mhm.
They lost to Super Troopers, and we saw Eddie Rousseau playing quarterback. Azim Bailey having a couple throws here and there. I do think that the path to success for them is Eddie Rousseau throwing and Azim Bailey as a receiver, personally. Do you think that that's the best combination of players for Face Jazz?
I mean, Face Jazz, they're a team. I mean, I remember watching them a couple of weeks ago or being at one of the games, and it was like, oh, they were talking to me. I think it was against in week 6 where they beat DGC, and they're saying, oh, you should take us serious, and we can score some points, yada, so on and so forth. And they did.
He only
They
scored
beat
18
them.
on DGC.
Yeah, and that's, I was gonna say, that's the thing. They only scored 18 on DGC. Against the Pension Plan, they scored 0 points. I understand why you would say Eddie Russo is their best option at quarterback and the best option to win, but I gotta disagree with that and just say when Bailey, pardon me, Azim Bailey, is he the greatest quarterback? No, probably not. But what he can do is he could run on anybody
Yeah, absolutely.
in this division or any division really, and
But against the best defenses in the playoffs, that won't work.
that won't work. But I
Like
mean,
if you're playing against Smoking Axles or one of the elite defenses in this division, that's not gonna work. Like Yamajo Station, Chapman.
Jeez, man.
Yamayo Station.
Thank you. If you're playing against them, they have so many athletes that you won't be able to run all day on them. So you'll get a couple, but then you also get sacked, and then you won't be able to score in the red zone, and that's what worries me about having him at quarterback.
True, but I mean, they did score 0 points, and Eddie Russo. I mean, the stats are pretty to be off for that game. I don't think even Eddie Russo even played. I just think
He missed a couple weeks. I think.
Yeah, he did. I just think with Eddie Russo, he is the best quarterback. I'll agree with you 1,000% on that. But what I think what they need to do is maybe perhaps to change it up on the Petra Pound defense. You might want to have Eddie Russo throw for a bit here. You might want not here, but have him throw a little bit here, have him throw a little bit there, just to change it up, and then have Bailey maybe come in as the option quarterback, if you will, to maybe he'll throw the ball, or maybe he'll just take off and run, because I mean that's what he does best. He is certified speed, and just to change it up and to keep the pension plan guessing, maybe that's what I think Face Jazz might need to do if they want to come up with a W. Because I mean, other than that, the pension plan, they are the better team, I think. Yeah. I mean, the record says they are the better team, but we have seen times where the pension plan don't necessarily. The defenders aren't the speediest guys. Let's call a spade here. Playing against them, that's the one thing I noticed with them. They're smart. They are a good team, but they don't exactly have all of the fastest defenders on the field at once. So if you're a guy like Bailey, if you're a team like Face Jazz, you may want to take advantage of that and use some of the speed and the one advantage that they do have.
Agreed. Thanks for stalling while I tried to get the list of nominees that Simon didn't send me, so I just asked him to send them to me.
I got you.
Live. But yes, absolutely. They do have a lot of speed. They probably are the best team in this game. But that brings us to where we make our picks, which is known as
Games of the Week.
Bam.
We'll just do quick picks here since we've already done
Summarized everything, yeah.
extended segments on each team.
So game 1, primetime versus DGC.
I'll go first, yeah.
We're all looking at you.
Doesn't really matter. Well, actually, it doesn't matter. You go first. That's better.
No, we're both picking.
Oh, you're both picking? Okay.
Yeah, well, I think it makes sense. I got to go with,
Just say the answer.
It's prime time.
Stop stalling.
Hey.
Yeah, you don't have to stall no more. I'm back.
Yeah, it's prime time. It's prime time big.
Prime time.
Spartans versus Just for the Reps.
I always say it's difficult to beat a team twice in FPF. There's just so many athletes on Spartans, and I don't think Just Reps can truly match up well. They think they win every matchup across the board. Give me Spartans.
You know what? I gotta say, this is the put up or shut up game. Pardon me. Will it be the Spartans who have choked in the playoffs year after year after year, and James Andrea and that crew have made a vow not to do that this year? They've told me. Mokan
I just like the
not
pieces.
gonna do it.
They didn't have them all season long, so the record's not amazing. But Alexandre Joubinville, Charles Levin Martel, James Andrea, that's a good offense.
It is a good offense, but again, we've seen it time and time again. They have choked when it matters most. But again,
Also, I think Alexis Bissette's also playoff eligible because he was at every game.
he is 100%. He's playoff
So
eligible.
if he's healthy,
he is.
Dude, that's a ridiculous offense.
That's ridiculous offense, and I want to go with the Spartans too. But again, my good buddies at just for the Reps, being the put up or shut up game. This is your time. This is your chance to shut up myself. This is your chance to shut up Peas. You guys have said time and time again, especially on Facebook or on Messenger or even to our
Social
faces.
media.
Which we invite, by
Media.
the way. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's just fine. 100%.
I love you guys doing the
100%
job for
is
me and
fine.
giving me content.
100% is fine. But I'm saying this is the time for you guys to step up your game. You've had Justin Mateo. He's had a great season. He's had 11 sacks. I think that's the leading sack artist, if you will, in Division A. This is your time to put up or shut up for the Spartans, getting a playoff win, and for just for the Reps, for
Quick
being a
picks.
team.
Quick
I apologize.
I was going to
For
say,
being a team,
wait
whatever,
to undermine
It
Peas.
is what it is. For being a team,
I've lost control of the show.
Whatever. For being a team who claims that we don't give them the respect that we deserve, so on and so forth, or that we don't respect them, yada yada yada. This is your time. Put up or shut up.
You know, I was gonna say if we like cut him short, we'd be called racist and stuff afterwards.
Damn right.
Just wanna throw that out.
You're damn right. Thank you. You know, I'll go on and on. Kevin St. Pierre is a great receiver, and you know what? He's a good guy.
Don't call
I had a
him
chance to
racist,
talk to him this
please.
week.
Don't call him
And you know
racist.
what? You know what? The Kevin St. Pierre versus Daniel Hernandez matchup is a matchup I want to see, and I will be watching this game. And let's just see where the chips may fall. I'm still gonna pick the Spartans, though.
He's so fiery tonight.
No, seriously. I got him mad at Abraham Lincoln. It wasn't me. It was the internet.
Hey, me and Big Abe.
Okay, that's fine. I love
Coming
you,
soon in the
Lincoln.
clutch. Racist.
I'm not.
Zombies.
Also Republican, by the way.
Well, there you go. Zombies and whatever else. He's tall.
Those
Vampires.
things are also cool.
Vampires.
They're also anyway. Next game, Chapman. I'm done with you.
Dirty Mike and the Boys versus Le Choix du Président. Oh my God, really? President reference.
If
on
Abe,
and on and on and on and on.
if Abe was picking this game, his choice would be Dirty Mike and the Boys. Yeah, did they?
Yeah, I'm going with Dirty Mike and the Boys as well. Again, if you get just Shorter President's a decent team, they may want to have to rile up Jordan, but I don't think they'll be able to do that. And I think Dirty Mike and the Boys will win the game big.
Smoking Axles versus the Expendables.
I started. Oh, you started. Well, yeah, I know. I started
Somebody
off.
just
You
pick.
started. You go.
Yeah, Smoking A's.
Smoking A's.
Definitely, yeah.
We are farmers. Dum 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 versus Little Giants.
The Little Giants are weird. They win games they shouldn't. This is a game they shouldn't. Give me the Little Giants.
And they lose games they shouldn't lose, like last night. But you know what? I'm still going to roll with the Farmers. They have too much.
Who are farmers?
Yeah.
Do it, Brent. Do it.
Dun, 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 dun. Wait a second. Are you making me sing and dance? Is that what we're...
Yeah, it's exactly what's happening. I do it all the time.
I'm busting your balls, bro. Nah, you know what?
You
the
sing it
Farmers-
because you're
the
racist.
Yeah, that's it.
I was
The
trying to
Farmers are
deflect.
just too good- The Farmers are too good of a team, I think, to lose to the Little Giants. So I think the Little Farmers this season will go on.
Pardon my swag versus One Speed Peas.
One speed P's by 50.
One speed turnover?
Yes, yes. Apple
Bro, I love
turnovers.
that has to be your name. That has to be your name going forward. Now, you know what? Avery Lala, Jesse Machine. Yeah, I don't think it matters. Sorry, boys. I apologize. But you know what? Part of my swag is too good of a team to get the L here, and I think their season goes on.
You know what? What's it called? Just for the reps. I know where you guys are coming from. Brent, we're coming for you.
Lost Avocados versus Sons of Mitches.
Los Avocados. Although it would be extremely awesome if Sons of Mitches pulled off the upset. My mouth would never shut up after that, but I don't think it happens. Los Avocados.
Armando Trotta, 2 career catches.
No, it's slow clap, guys. You're clapping
It was
too
a
fast,
real
Vinny.
clap. We're being sarcastic.
There we go.
No, but in all honesty, I don't think I don't think Sons of Mitch's offense is strong enough to compete with Los Avocados. Give me the Avocados.
The Pension Plan versus Face Jazz.
I think Face Jazz find a way to pull it off, and Pension Plan just has one of those games where they're off. So give me Face Jazz. I don't know why. I don't really have a reason for believing it, but give me that.
For those of you guys wondering why I'm laughing at home, it's because the main man, Terry Tam, is like, pension plan? Face Jazz? What kind of names are those?
Imagine he was on the podcast all season.
We had a whole podcast this season where Duke was trying to figure out what Face Jazz meant.
There you go. The squeaky laugh.
What do you got, Brett?
I have a man's laugh on Lake Peas. On Lake Terry, pardon me. I'm going to roll with pension plan. Pension plan.
Because we have 16 games to break down.
Yeah, bro, we don't have like 4 there, right? Or whatever. Yeah, we got like 1,000,001 games. Everybody makes the playoffs in Division E. Yeah,
Except
pension plan.
Striking Sunrise. Brent, final thoughts.
Kiss my ass. Final thoughts. I want to thank the main man, Vinny Golano, who I was just saying, he's a good guy. He brought us some beer. I appreciate it. Coors, the unofficial sponsor of the Division E podcast.
Very unofficial because they don't give us any money.
It's true. And the beer's not that great either, but hey, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, give us money, then we'll say it's great.
I'm an Alexander Keith kind of guy, but hey, for those of you that want gifts and so on and so forth, Alexander Keith. But yeah. I'm very happy. Sorry, I'm very happy. I'm very happy. I'm very excited. The playoffs are here. I'm looking forward to it. It's playoffs, good times. Let's do this.
Chapman, final thoughts.
I discovered this week that Brent is very clearly a burger man. Every single score he talked about was a 30 burger, 40 burger, 20 burger, 60 burger, 50 burger. They're all burgers.
Okay, but so when you look at me and Brent, do you think for a second that we're not burger guys?
No, I don't.
not think
But
that?
I have official confirmation now.
Am I going for one, going for two? I'm actually going to go for two real quick, unless Simon Dagenet does not provide me with the list, in which case I'll be going for one.
We could do it next week.
I probably, well, no, it'll be announced on the Facebook wall, the nominees anyway. So, am I going for one, maybe two? I'll start with
1.5.
I wasn't able to put out some news today on the FPF official news day. Unfortunately, I had some family issues to take care of. But tomorrow morning, there's going to be some issues, some news about the new format for the press conference. So for the championship teams, Division E teams might not know this. We do a traditional press conference before the finals, except this time it's going to be very non-traditional because all the other press conferences always sucked. So, since Simon has not answered me, that was my going for one. Thank you, Brent, for joining me. Thank you, Terry, for that beautiful laugh. Thank you, Vinny Galano, for bringing us beer. Thank you, Chapman, for your terrible work once again.
Yes!
But most of all, thank you all for letting me be myself.
And thank you for Abraham Lincoln for freeing slaves.
Yes, thank you, Abraham Lincoln, for being slaves.